Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lizzie and today I'm going to be doing my physical TBR slash books on my shelf that I haven't read and why. So I don't know, I'll try to distinguish what books are actually on my TBR and then just there are random books that my family's just been hey, you should read this, so it's on my shelf that I plan to read next. So it's technically a book on my shelf that I haven't read, but it's not my official TBR. So I don't really separate them by books that I haven't read. I used to flip them so you couldn't see the spine, it would face this way, and then when I read them I would flip them over so you got to see the spine of the book. But I realized that wasn't the best because then I couldn't see which books I had never read. I couldn't see their title, so it didn't I was oh, I need to grab this book next. It was just kind of a blank book. So yeah, I'm gonna start by grabbing the books off the top. Those are the books that are I need to read next, that's my next priority, actual on my TBR, and then I'll show you guys the other ones. So the first book that I have that's on that shelf is House of Sky and Breath, and this is the second book in the Crescent City series. I am currently reading the first one, so I haven't read the second one because I'm in the middle of the first one, and then this I think will be my next read once I finish that one. The next book on my list is A Shadow in the Ember, and this is by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I talked about this book in a couple of videos actually. It's on my May TBR and I really wanted to start it and dive into it, but with finals and everything, the last thing I wanted was to dive into a really high fantasy world. And then yeah, so I haven't really, I read the prologue, but I haven't kept going. So I figured after I read Crescent City and I'm in that high fantasy mindset, I'll go on to this one. But yeah, so I have not completed it. I've literally just read the prologue, so I don't really count that. The next book I've also talked about in a previous video, and it is Imagine Me. So I need to read 5.5. I don't have to, but I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Reveal Me or something. That could be totally incorrect. But I want to read 5.5 before I read this, and I'm really just not ready to let go of the characters in this book. I kind of talked about that before, but I really need to just finish the series. But I've been seeing so many Pinteresty things, and I have a whole board dedicated to it, so I'm just not ready to say goodbye to these characters. So this is the 6th book, and then there's a 6.5, which is the very last installment of it. But that's why I have it on my to be read next. I will probably read it this month. So yeah. The next book I have is The Love Hypothesis, which I recently just hauled, which is why I haven't read it. I recently bought 6 different books and I just haven't gotten around to reading it. So the same goes for this book as Ugly Love and November 9. I just have recently bought them, so I haven't dedicated time to them yet or read them. So that's why they're all sitting on the very top, because I just got them. I want to read them next. It just hasn't happened yet. So there are also so many other books that have been on my shelf since last summer that I haven't shown any love to, but I'm really excited about these, which is why I have them at the very top. So those are the books on the top. I'm going to put these back and then I'm going to grab the next set of books. I think I've read I've read all of these books and all of these. So then the very bottom shelf that you can probably see a little bit is either books that I didn't like, which I can make a whole video about, or so I'll either be donating them or having someone else try them out, or just other books I haven't read. So yeah. Okay, so the first set of books that I have are from my sister. She loved them, so she was I think you should read them. I think you would really enjoy them. And I'm excited because I haven't heard anything about these, which I feel is pretty rare. I feel for the most part you hear about most books. So the first one is Being Friends with Boys, and I honestly don't know what any of these books are about. She just gave them to me and was you should read them this summer, so I'm going to. And then another book by that same author, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name, but yeah, and it is The Summer of Firsts and Lasts. So These two books are by the same author. I really like the covers, they're really cute. But yeah, so I'm excited to read them. And then also The Darlings in Love, which I really think this is a fun cover. And I think this is a book about 3 different friends, because it says Victoria the sweetheart, Natalia the overachiever, and Jane the drama queen. I think it's just like different love stories for them. So I am really excited to read this actually. And this one's by Melissa Cantor. So the next book, which is also, my sister was like obsessed with this, is Delirium. And this is, I'm pretty sure, about like a world where they treat love as an illness. And this one girl, I think she starts to fall in love or something of the sort. And she's like dealing with that in her life. So yeah, I'm really excited. Again, this is Delirium. This was really popular, I think, in like 2013. So I'm excited to get to this. I haven't heard anything about it, so that's also a pro. The next books are mysteries, and this is The Girl on the Train and The Silent Sister. The Girl on the Train is a movie. Yeah, it's a movie. I think like a girl, she rides a train every day. She sees something she shouldn't. It's like a crime. I don't know if, I'm pretty sure someone gets murdered. I don't know if everybody gets, or the couple gets murdered, or if just like the girl or what. But I think it's also multiple POVs, so I'm excited for this one. And then also The Silent Sister is about this girl named Riley, and she thought her older sister had committed suicide, and she realized that she didn't. The last 3 books on my shelf are books that I've purchased, but I just have not gotten around to them. We Hunt the Flame. As you can see, I have a bookmark in this. I have tried reading this twice. It is very, very slow. And it's not even like there's a lot of intense world building. I just don't feel like anything is happening. Now, I've only like 50 pages in, so like I refuse to DNF it. But I'm just struggling. So I'm putting it back on the shelf, and like hopefully eventually I'll get to it sometime this summer. But yeah, was really disappointed also because it was super hyped up. The next book that I have really high expectations for is The Song of Achilles. Now, people have hyped this book up so much, and I feel like every single book that I read that's been super hyped up, I just end up disappointed because I like have all these expectations because everyone was like, it was fantastic. It almost ruins the book for you. So this book has been sitting on my shelf for like 1.5 years, and I'm hoping to get to it this summer, but yeah, so I just don't want to be disappointed. I'm gonna be really bummed. I also think I know the big spoiler. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but I saw something and I was like, shoot. So that's also why I haven't read it. And lastly, the very last book on my shelf that I have not read is Blood and Honey. And this is, I don't actually know what the series is called, but I know the first book is Serpent and Dove, and I was disappointed by it. I read it like last January and just did not think it was that great, like at all. Like I struggled to get through it. So there were a couple of good parts, but like not enough where I was like, yeah, I want to keep going with the series. But unfortunately I had already gotten the second book, which taught me my lesson. So that is why I will not buy a complete book series unless I've read the book before. Like I won't buy the third book until I've read the second one. But yeah, so I was definitely just like haven't gotten to it because I just didn't like the first one. So hopefully I'll like the first one. Hopefully like I'll reread it. If somebody convinces me to read the second one, like if you think the second one was way better than the first, let me know. And hopefully that'll motivate me to read it. But yeah, so those are all the books that I have not read that are on my shelf. I think I'm gonna do a little bookshelf tour soon once I get a decent amount of these books read, so then I can like place them by author. I haven't really organized since I've been back from school, so yeah. But if you have read any of these books and you love them, comment that down below and like motivate me to read them too. But I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.